Hi everyone, my name is Lakshya Kumar. I scored a 99.99 percentile in CAT 2019.
Hi everyone, my name is Somya Agrawal. I scored 99.81 percentile in CAT 2016. And today we are here to discuss how doing our MBAs from top B school has benefited our career journeys.
So I'll just start off with my introduction. Folks, I am from born brought up in Delhi. I did my undergrad from Shahid Sukhdev College, did Bachelor's of Management Studies, and then pursued MBA right after it. As you understand, I scored 99.99 percentile, got into IIM Calcutta. Right now, I am working as a management consultant in McKinsey & Company.
I did my BTech from IIT BHU back in 2016. Then I worked for a year in EXL Analytics, and then I scored 99.81 percentile in CAT and went for IIM Lucknow. Post my MBA, I started working with JP Morgan in quants markets, and after that I really wanted to try my hand at startups. So I've been working for different startups in product and strategy roles.
I think if we talk about our preparation strategy, I understand that CAT was the goal for us, but everyone has a different strategy. So why don't you tell us about how you prepared for CAT? What was, and specifically I think around every section, how did you go about preparing for every section?
Yeah, sure. So for me, preparation was more about giving as many mock tests as possible, because I feel when you are in giving such a time constrained test, the most important thing is that you are able to complete all of the questions in the smallest amount of time. As for different sections, what I did was, for VARC, I feel the most important thing is reading. Yeah. So you have to read as much as possible, and a lot of the times what happens is our vocabulary is very limited, so it's not possible for us to build our vocabulary in last 6-7 months of preparation, right? So what you have to do is, मेरी ये trick है कि whenever you are reading these reading comprehensions and everything, you have to just read it like that, and अगर आपको उसके बीच का कोई word का meaning नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, so you have to derive the meaning in that context.
Yes.
So that your reading speed will become very fast. You won't get stuck on each and every word. So ये reading comprehension is very very important जब आप VARC करते हो. And the second thing is कि VARC में you don't have to be greedy and attempt everything. Don't be tempted to attempt everything, because there is negative marking as well, right? Yeah. So अगर आप ज़्यादा questions attempt करते हो and accuracy आपकी कम हो जाती है, तो your score will definitely fall down. So this was mostly about VARC. And then one more thing I would like to say about VARC, जब भी कोई passage आप पढ़ते हो, कोई reading comprehension करते हो, तो जो भी question होता है उसके ऑप्शंस को हाइड कर लेना चाहिए, एंड देन ट्राई टू थिंक ऑफ आंसर्स ऑन योर ओन. सिर्फ क्वेश्चन पढ़ के आंसर सोचो खुद से, एंड देन टिक द राइट आंसर. बिकॉज अगर आप ऑप्शंस पढ़ोगे, देन यू विल जस्ट फील कि ये भी आंसर हो सकता है, ये भी आंसर हो सकता है, ये भी आंसर हो सकता है, राइट? यू विल जस्ट गेट कंफ्यूज. सो दैट इज फॉर वर्बल सेक्शन. मे बी यू वुड वांट टू टेक अप द अदर सेक्शंस.
Yeah, sure. No, I think LRDI was the next section, and this was the most mysterious segment for me. I did not know what's the best way to prepare for it. I think most of us don't understand how do we go about it, and this was the case for me as well. The way I went about it, and this is what I always preach, here just pick up one booklet, right? Can be from any coaching institute, can be any book in the market that you trust or your seniors have trusted, but stick to one or two books, one book each, right? So let's say for LRDI, pick one book, do all the questions that you can. That was part one of LRDI prep. Second thing of LRDI prep was I went back and did all the previous year question papers, and I think they are readily available. बहुत readily available. You just go there, time bound manner में exactly आप 1 घंटे में. For me it was a 1 hour paper, and sure it has changed right now, but you're doing all the questions in 1 hour time period, right? That was the preparation strategy for me. So one booklet plus pass your paper. But I think that's not it about LRDI. It's not just about preparing for it, but it's also about giving the exam of LRDI, and which requires कि अगर I think it was 6-7 sets when I was preparing, right? Just spend the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes for me. I think I had 8 minutes as in my mind. 7-8 minutes I'll finish up. I read all the sets, mark them 1, 2, 3, 1 being the easiest. I'll try that first. 2, I'll look at it when I get time. And 3, I am not touching it for sure. So that's how I went about it. Give 7-8 minutes, whatever time you feel you are comfortable giving. Go through the sets. because you should not be in your examination should not be in the hands of the exam setter. उसने अगर पहला passage दे दिया तो पहला passage वही कर रहे हो. It should not be the case. It should be you taking the call कि this is much more easy for me, I'll do that, versus something else. So that for me, LRDI was a two-step strategy. One, prepare, and second, give and then learn from your mistakes on the LRDI front. Right? Quant was slightly more structured for me. How do I go about it? Again, picked up one book, made quick formula cheat sheet. So कोई अच्छा question देखा मैंने and I know कि मैंने answer देख लिया. I was never even concerned about कि मुझे answer नहीं आता है. I was happy अगर मुझे answer बता भी दे तो I'll learn from it. ठीक है, this is how you do it, right? And then if there's a formula that's being used, let's say angle between hour hand and the minute hand, what's the angle between? There's a quick formula, right? I'll just write down the formula. So that notebook of my formulas started growing as I kept on doing questions, right? And by the end of it, I had good set of formulas which helped me get that precious amount of time and minutes, right? जो exam में आपको बहुत help करते हैं. So that's what I did for quant. कि एक book लो, एक बार करो, formulas आ गए. ठीक है, then you repeat that. ठीक है, then you repeat that book. उसके specific questions I marked already कि difficult हैं या फिर नए type के हैं. So मैंने एक बार revise भी किया. So I revised as well quant because that's how important it was for me to have that quant revision. That's how I went about it. One book plus mock. And I think the final thing I want to add to preparation was कि I knew my admit card was out about a month back. So I knew मेरा afternoon slot है from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. I think that was the case. So every 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. in the last 30 days, I think I gave a mock. So अगर मैं कह रहा हूँ मेरे 40-50 mocks totality मैंने दिए हैं, the last 25 mocks were in the last 25 days of CAT. So I had this habit of taking an afternoon siesta. I forgot about it. I started giving 2 to 5 mocks and hence prepared well for it. And the final day it went better because I was very focused. I had that energy of giving the exam for 3 hours. This is how I went about the CAT strategy for these two sections.
Yeah, actually, pretty great strategy there, and especially for the LRDI section, as you rightly pointed out. I would just like to add one more thing. So, I was very inclined towards logical reasoning section out of LRDI rather than. So, what I used to do earlier when I started my preparation was that I would just find out which ones are the logical reasoning passages, and I would only attempt those first and then go to DIA section. But then slowly I realized that in both of these sections, DI as well as logical reasoning, even though I'm very good at logical reasoning and maybe not as good in DI, both of them have easy passages. So rather than me having like this sort of taking this as a challenge that I have to score 100% marks in logical reasoning, it doesn't really matter. I just have to pick the easiest thing. I don't even have to do 100% of anything. I just have to maybe score 60, 70, 80% marks at best.
Fair.
So that was also one of the learnings I got
completely aligned on this one.
During the preparation. You must have also changed your strategy.
Fair. I did. I think I fortunately enough I had a very good senior who pointed out starting say figure out 6-7 minutes. So I kept most of it, but I kept on refining the same strategy. Okay? But that's how I went about it, and fortunately got through with good amount of marks. The strategy panned out well. I think that was very fortunate. Yeah, but that's how I think for me the CAT prep went. I think once the CAT exam is over, what you do is enter the next phase, which people realize often very late, which is the preparation for the interviews and giving the interviews at the top IIMs in front of the top professors out there in the country. And how did you go about preparing for your interviews?
So, as you rightly said that, people don't focus as much on the interviews, and mostly because there are very few examinations or entrance tests where there are interviews as well. So, it's maybe a very new experience for people, giving such kind of interviews who have not maybe worked before or participated in such a thing before. So I feel giving an interview is a skill that you have to learn. So you don't have to get disheartened easily, and some of us are just not very comfortable in expressing what they're thinking. So they might be the most brilliant people, but they are just not very confident in speaking up, etc. So you just have to realize this is a skill. You will not be the best on day one, but you will get better. So you have to give as many mock interviews as you can, because it's not just about how much you know, it's more about how maturely you behave and how you conduct yourself in front of the interviewer, and how well you respond to different kind of situations. Do you respond very negatively? Are you a person who easily come under stress? So I believe that the more you are exposed to giving interviews, the more comfortable and calm you will just become.
Fair.
So what was the strategy for you for interviews?
Yes. I think I had a strategy which, so I figured out that there are 4 types of questions that an interviewer can ask you.
Yeah.
Right? I think this is the 4 sort of buckets in which you prepare your interview strategy. The first one and the most important one is your tell me something about yourself or your personal bucket of questions. The second question sets are around your work experience or internships, whichever is applicable for you. Right? And the third set of questions are around the general knowledge which is going out there. And fourth and final that I felt was around academic background that you're a part of. So maybe questions of finance from me, I'm from finance background, maybe engineering from you. So these are the 4 sets of buckets I knew I had to prepare in. Right? I think the first bucket, which is tell me something about yourself, was the one which was most important to I think everyone, which we realized later on that this is what gives you the opportunity to provide hooks, right? As to this is the first 2 minutes of your interview. You do showcase how you're speaking that, how prepared you are about the interview. You do plug in some hooks that professors might catch on to, right? But that's one way of preparing about it. I think I'd refined that answer for at least a couple of months. I think from the first interview where I just said, hey, I'm Lakshya, to something like a long 1-minute answer of, hey, this is me, this is what I've done, and this is what I feel I'm good at, right? So this was my first answer till the last answer journey of just first bucket. I think the rest of it was slightly easier because it comes more naturally to us, right? Which is preparing something about your academics, right? And I think you don't need to prepare all the subjects, by the way. I think just pick. They generally do, professors tend to ask you, what's your favorite subject? And they're very polite about it, and they will ask you questions about that only. Right. At least the professors for me were, and that's what I've been hearing about generally. So I picked up one subject which I knew I was better at than most of my other subjects. And let's say for me it was finance or whatever, and I prepared on that slightly deeper. That does not mean I did not prepare for other subjects. Like I was still figuring out कि बाकी सब में क्या क्या चल रहा है, कि stats में क्या होता है या फिर economics में क्या चल रहा है. But I was much more deeper in finance, right? And that's what my favorite subject was. Third thing around the internships, you should know not just कि आपने क्या काम किया, आपकी division क्या करी थी, but also about the company in general. Let's say I interned at Niti Aayog, so I should know what the mission of Niti Aayog is, who are the people around it, how does it actively play a role in something or the other. So that's what you have to prepare about, not just your work, but also about the broader firm as well. And finally, I think the last thing, which is around GK, I think that's what you prepare a lot during the final 2 months. And I think that's appropriate amount of time. Right. 2 months is enough for you to prepare around broader subjects. One thing which was very interesting that was taught to me was that you should not just know facts, but you should have an opinion basis those facts. Right? You cannot just have opinion without facts. That's very dangerous for you. You cannot just have facts because that's a parrot talking. You should have opinions based on some facts, right? I think that's how I went about my I know it's a long answer, but it's how I went about my interview preparation strategy. Yeah,
that sounds very comprehensive actually. Just to add on your point wherein you said that you gave them some subject that you are interested in. So one thing that I've noticed in my experience is if you're from engineering background, for example, I am a chemical engineer. So the professors who are there who take the interviews, they are generally not from engineering backgrounds. So they are mostly from, let's say, finance, marketing, all of these verticals which are actually taught in the B school. So there, sometimes I feel even if you tell them that you are a chemical engineer, you're not going to get asked about, chemical engineering.
Okay.
So because, it's just a domain mismatch. So in that case, engineers might have to find some other hooks or, other point of commonality between the interviewer and them. Because at this point of time, most of the engineers don't know what finance is or what marketing is. Then there is a lack of connect between the interviewer and the interviewee. So maybe try to find something that you're interested in. For example, an engineer might also be interested in economics, in which the professor will also have interest, right? So such strategies can also help.
Definitely. And I think now that we have talked about the interview, let's talk about something which happens during MBA. A major aspect of it is about placements, right? So what all options did you find in your MBA college of possible jobs and domains and which interested you the most? And what was the transition from your last job till the new job that you picked up after MBA? If you can tell us something about that as well.
Sure. So I would say that, MBA was a whole new world for me. It just, opened up my eyes because there were a lot of domains there. And since I was an engineer, I did not have much idea about any of those subjects before. Right. So for me, I got to know about marketing for the first time, finance, operations. I was, a little bit aware of because that has some sort of touch with engineering as well. And then when I went to B school, I got to know that, I'm interested in all of these things much more than I was ever interested in engineering.
Sure.
And then I developed a keen interest in finance. I realized that, I'm an engineer, I like playing with numbers, so I would want to, build my career in finance. And then I was also interested in strategy kind of roles. I did my internship with MasterCard. But then I realized that I'm not very interested in consulting and my heart was in finance. So I came back from internship and then I doubled down on my finance courses. I took a lot of finance courses in my second year.
Yeah.
Did my CFA level 1 as well during the MBA process only. And then after that I got a job in JP Morgan after 2 years. So this is how my career trajectory has been so far. But what I've realized is what MBA gives you is the confidence to change domains. So even after I went to JP Morgan, I realized that I want to explore more, something more as well. So I went on to take up a lot of product management projects within JP Morgan, and then eventually switch to product management in new startups that I joined. So what was your experience?
Yeah. No, I think I always wanted to explore multiple domains and industries. That was clear to me because I had no idea about all those industries that I wanted to just have a glimpse of. I think that made my choice much more simpler. I thought management consulting is one thing that gives me the opportunity for that. So I went about it. I fortunately got an internship at McKinsey, which is a large management consulting firm. And I got a PPO from that, and I'm right now working on that in that same job as well. So I think what helped me was I was decided before MBA as well that I want to switch from, let's say, a job wherever I'm getting right now into a front-end job in front of the clients when you talk to those people who have worked in those industries and get more knowledge nuggets from them. And I think that's what my aspiration was. Unfortunately, I think MBA helped me achieve that aspiration. So that's the one thing that I like about MBA. And as you were talking, I think we had multiple domains that we could research into, right? For a fresher as well, I think I got the chance of finance as well, consulting, there was marketing as an option, there's general management as well, which comes and is quite popular as well. So these 3-4 options were there. I think there's a plethora of options for anyone to choose from. I think that's what an MBA helps you as well. In the beginning get-go itself, you get so many options to choose from. And even after you, as you're telling us, that post your job is the first job, there's also so many more options and the confidence that this degree provides you.
Right. And how would you say that it has sort of, what kind of hikes has, let's say this MBA has given you pre and post MBA?
Okay, by hikes you mean the pay hike, yeah?
Yeah, pay.
I was not working anywhere, but I think what I did have an offer. I think it was my pre-MBA versus post-MBA, it's been 3x or 3.5x has been the hike. Even though I was not working, but yes, that was the annual CTC hike. But yeah, that way it was pretty cool. Yeah. And I think as I was talking to you about what the hike has been, I think in general it's not just about one job, but I think on average we do get a package of the average CTC is around 25 lakhs. I think across campuses, ABCL, something of that sort. So you do put in a lot of money and resources in your MBA. But I think you do get that return in the span of 1 or 2 years itself. So I think that way it's a very high return on investment thing that happens, and that's MBA for you.
Yeah, and one thing I would like to add here is that later on also you get very high responsibilities very quickly. Let's say, if someone wants to go to the CEO path or, become a CXO at some point of time. So it is, easily possible when you
Yeah.
have MBA with you, degree with you, and then the kind of roles that you get, you just generally have that confidence to basically take up more responsibilities, because a lot of the jobs that you do post MBA, they have some common elements to them. One of them is stakeholder management, and then the other is having basic domain knowledge, all-round domain knowledge of, let's say, some bit of finance, some bit of marketing. So that is something that MBA provides you with.
So I think what is that then the one advice you would want to give to all the aspirants out there for their CAT journey, for their professional journey in, I think, over a larger scale? What is that 1-2 mantras that you want to give to them or share with them?
So one thing I would like to share to all CAT aspirants is that you have to understand that it is not a race, right? It's a marathon. The whole CAT process, as well as your MBA journey and even the post MBA journey, everything is just a marathon. Like you won't be given an award if you are, like, let's say, very young and have ticked all of these boxes. You will not be given an award. What will really help you is let's say if you face failure at some point of time, तो अपने failure से सीखो, and then just वो resilience develop करो कि if you are facing failures, then you just dust yourself, get yourself up and going for something else. अगर कोई एक चीज़ कन्वर्ट नहीं हो पाती है, एक चीज़ पॉजिटिवली नहीं हो पाती है, it doesn't matter, because life is really long and life will play out in ways that you can't even comprehend right now, right?
Okay.
What will be the advice that you would want to give?
Yeah, I think one thing that I'll tell to all the aspirants out there is, even folks who were, let's say, end up being toppers and all of them had the same journey, right, which was built with highs and lows. There were good days, there were bad days, right? We all had mock tests that we screwed up, had less percentile than what we were expecting, right? What I think one thing that made us get to this level, whatever we are at, was that we were consistent and resilient, that we did not take that thing and just stop at that point of time. We did not take a failure and stop at that point of time. So I think it's very important that you keep on going. What will help you is maybe building a support system around you. It can be your friends, it can be your family, it can be your educators, anything of that sort. Just building a support system that helps you drive towards that goal, right? And there would be highs and lows. So do not expect your journey to be like that you will get that package, you will get that company. There would be highs and lows even when you're doing your MBA, not just during your CAT preparation, right? Just be agile and be prepared for these challenges. I think your support system will help you on that. Yeah, that's it for me.
So that was all from our side. Hope you really liked the video. Share this with your friends.
And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to Unacademy Showcase channel, and
Let's crack it.